Okay, now we're going to move on to our solid waste services update. Mr. Blackburn?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council, and our community. I think many of the community members are aware that we're in a transition period between Waste Pro as our primary solid waste provider and FCC. Transition has not always been easy, but I think we're beginning to get a little bit of a pattern where things are starting to be manageable on all sides. So I want to just touch on a few things. One is in order to supplement our services and address what were many complaints of chronic missed pickups, the city decided to actually lease 9 garbage trucks. We had to lease them for a period of 6 months. We're using employees from Public Works to drive the trucks, and we are augmenting either with outside contract employees or some of our own folks to actually be helpers on the trucks. So we have 6 of those trucks in service now, 3 more on the way, expected by sometime next week. The trucks, because they are older trucks, they have to be updated, repaired, and in some cases lifts placed on the back to ensure that we can pick up the amount of weight that's being, as garbage is accumulating, it gets heavier and heavier. So we've been averaging with our 5 trucks, truck number 6 went into place and worked this week, about 328 homes that we're picking up every day. So we send our code enforcement officers out to those reported misses, which our goal is to go out for a home that's not been serviced in at least 7 days. Our code enforcement officers validate those misses, and then they'll also look for each side of the street where the home was called in, and we pick up everybody who hasn't been picked up. And so our trucks have been very busy. It certainly is evidenced by the number of homes that we're servicing. So one of the ways that the city has been trying to ensure that we get good garbage pickup is back in May, the city council agreed to pause recycling services. We are still on a pause with recycling, but recycling will start again in September when FCC becomes our primary provider. So FCC has been selected as the primary provider effective in September. Council is aware it's a 7-year contract with a 3-year renewal period if the city is pleased with the service. FCC, because they're in their startup phase, they have been having commercial containers delivered. So they service all the commercial accounts in the city of Port St. Lucie. There are currently 500 commercial containers on our Cameo site. Those containers will begin to be swapped out with the Waste Pro containers later this week and over the next week, and then more containers will come in to provide the overall services for the commercial customers. FCC has acquired a site on Kings Highway that will be their yard and administrative office areas. So that is clear evidence that they're going to be a long-term fixture in Port St. Lucie. They have ordered their trucks, and they have shared with the city not only their invoices, but their delivery dates, and they begin to be delivered in August with completion by the 1st of September based on their agreed upon purchase and delivery dates. So all of the indicators that I have seen or heard 100% say that FCC is going to be a reliable provider. They actually received their first truck last week. It was a side loader, will not be put into use yet, but it's actually a beautiful truck, brand new FCC truck, and That will be the basis of our service starting in September. Side loader service automated, only requires a skilled driver. So the trucks also hold more, and they have the potential, because of both the automation and the fact that it's a little bit bigger truck, to get through routes sooner and faster. And so we'll start back with recycling. The plan for FCC at this point is to have garbage pickup and recycling using their automated trucks on the same day. So every citizen, homeowner, will get a notification of their day of service. It will be recycling and garbage pickup on the same day, and then there'll be a separate day for yard waste pickup, and then one day a month for bulky items at no charge scheduled. And then certainly if you have bulky items that you'd like to dispose, you'll be able to make arrangement with the company, for other days during a month if you can't wait until that scheduled pickup day. So one of the questions that we get, and I've talked to a lot of people, and not near as many as you have, and the question that I get frequently is, I'm okay, I've learned to live with the service, but can you just tell me what day a week I can get service between now and September? And the truth is I can't. Waste Pro has been inconsistent. They are in some cases providing service on the scheduled days in some routes, but not consistently. And so it is very difficult, if not impossible, for us to actually say, on this Wednesday, every Wednesday you'll get service. We just can't say that with the information we have right now. Certainly their goal is to get back to twice a week scheduled service. In some cases, they may be there, and others not as much. And so we would encourage our citizens, again, to be patient. We are seeing more routes with pickups of twice a week. That's a good sign, but not consistently. So I want to stop my report with thank yous. So we really appreciate our citizens recognizing that, nobody likes uncertainty, and we've had a lot of uncertainty over the last really year, 2 years of, what day will my pickup occur? Will I be picked up at all? Citizens are doing a great job of, I think, adapting. They are using the city's convenience center on Cameo. We see 70 or more folks every day using that facility. You can bring your bulky items there. You can bring yard waste to that location and your recycling. Councilmember Bonner had a question over the weekend from a citizen. Are they really recycling at Cameo? Absolutely. The recycling is picked up almost daily, sometimes twice a day, and it is taken to the county's material recovery facility, and that is where it's dumped in their grate, and it is sorted. So if you bring your recyclables to the convenience center, they will be recycled. And the volume of recyclables is actually high, and we're very pleased with that. We're appreciative that people are continuing to recycle. So also want to thank our employees. Certainly our code enforcement officers are doing different jobs than they normally would do. Our drivers, our CDL drivers from the Public Works Department have been fantastic. They are driving garbage trucks. That's not what they were hired for. It's not what they're used to. They're doing a really great job, and we appreciate it very much. And the folks who are working at the convenience center, it's not been an easy time. If you're part of our neighborhood services department, dealing with a lot of calls of people who are frustrated. And, they've handled it for the very most part with professionalism, And we're happy that service is getting a little bit better. And I think a big chunk of that is the fact that we're now running today 6 garbage trucks to address the missed pickups. So that's my report, Madam Mayor. Is there any questions?
Council, are there any questions of the manager? No? Yes.
Have two, I guess. When we do receive calls from residents and they give you their address, 123 Main Street, and then going out, is whoever's picking up the garbage doing the entire street or block instead of just pinpointing that one address? Because I've had a person call and say they felt so bad because they called and gave an address, truck came out, picked up their garbage and left everybody else's.
So I can't always say forever in all of these, but the direction has been all the feedback I get when you call in and we enter all of these calls into our one PSL system. And they're looked at those calls that are 7 days or more, and we address them every day. We're getting probably 80% of the calls addressed. We send them out to a location and address, and we pick up both sides of the street. If the area is manageable and they see that the area hasn't been picked up, they'll pick up the whole area as well. So they do pick up both sides of the street. That was a determination that was made day one, that we're not going to just respond to one person's call, because we have to assume that if they were missed, the folks around them were also missed.
Correct. The only other thing that I heard you say is that when it does come time for FCC to take over, it's going to be garbage and recycling are going to be on the same day. So Monday through Friday, Saturday is going to be used as a, pardon the pun, but cleanup day in case any routes are missed. So we have Monday through Friday, garbage and recycling, but they are 2 different bins, and they will be picked up by 2 different trucks, which means that we will need to get the education out to everyone of how to place their cans so they can be picked up. I think it goes into the education piece. But other than that, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions, and I look forward to getting done with this mess. And whoever's phone has been going off like 5
Yes.
times, I think you owe $100 to the Humane Society.
Yes. Please silence your cell phones, please, because it's distracting up here when we're trying to listen.
Thank you.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Blackburn, when everyone gets their cans, there's going to be documentation with their can that describes how to place their carts at the curb, correct? Because I've reviewed that, and so far.
Yes,
And
that is correct, and it'll actually be stamped on the can, because the cans are bigger and heavier. They all have a bar, an assisted bar on them, as well as the automated system clamps down on the can, and it can weigh up to 200 pounds, and it puts it in. And so it's important that the can faces the direct outwardly toward the road. And the can will show you that right on the can, but also there will be instructions as to how to use it, what to put in each one. So you will, and Councilmember Morgan is correct, you'll have 2 cans. You'll have a larger brown can for most folks, and you'll have the green recycling can that you currently are provided. But they're 2 separate ones, and they'll both be picked up by automated trucks.
good. Any other questions or comments? Do you have something?
Well, not too many. Mr. Blackburn gave a great report. I just want to commend all of the employees that are stepping outside of their role as well. I had the opportunity to join them on a truck about a week and a half ago, and it really is hard work. And so they are really making a big sacrifice for us. And you talked about the communication issues, and I've talked about them over the past several weeks. And I just want to say, thank God for the 328 pickups a day. Imagine where we would be if the city had not been filling in this gap. And I guess one question I would have is, we are into an agreement for about 6 months with these trucks. So how do you envision us using these trucks after the transition? Will they be able to, help make sure that the transition's very smooth?
Yes, thank you very much. In order to be able to get the trucks, and these were the only 9 garbage trucks available in the state of Florida, and they have just recently become available. So, and they've also have to be retrofitted in order to come to Port St. Lucie. So we had to enter into a 6-month agreement. So obviously we started in June. 6 months will go well past September. So what we anticipate is twofold. One is we're very happy to have the trucks because we're in hurricane season. So during hurricane season, we sometimes need to quickly augment even Waste Pro's services to pick up trash that may be out because of folks, they've set their can out and they went away, and the can potentially could blow over with the contents. So we have that ability if we should have a disaster. But after September, in September, once FCC becomes our primary provider, we'll still have the trucks. So I would almost, with certainty guarantee that there will be some missed routes or missed streets at least during that early timeline. Certainly missed pickups by a house or multiple houses. So our having the garbage trucks will allow us to do what's called a chase vehicle. So in case somebody does get missed, then we can address those misses quickly. And we hope that doesn't happen, but I think it's likely that it'll happen early on. You have potentially new drivers driving areas they're not used to. They may miss a house or two or even a street. And so, we'll have the ability to to respond if that should occur.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Are there any proactive plans in regards to FCC providing communication when something is not the way we would like to have it? So for example, if they turn their can wrong, are they going to put something on them to let them know that that their cans turned wrong? Or same thing with yard waste and bulky waste. Are we going to have communication provided to that way in those instances that we can help educate the public as it's occurring?
Yeah, during the first month of service for FCC, FCC will actually have people following along, as well as we'll designate one or more of our code officers to be out in the community to put a notice on if you put your bulky waste out on a day that's not your bulky waste pickup day. If you're putting out too much vegetative waste, we'll give you warnings. We'll put notices on the house. And the simple thing of turn your can the other way, turn your can around so that the automated truck can easily pick it up. We expect that there's going to be, a week or two of getting used to a different service type and level. And so we'll be providing notices to residents so that they can know what is encouraged and how the best way to get reliable, outstanding solid waste services.
And so you mentioned hurricane season, and we do know that we're still having issues with regular trash pickup. Has Waste Pro resumed regular yard waste pickup on scheduled days?
Waste Pro reports that they are doing some yard waste services, and that I'm sure that is correct, but it's hard for us to verify. We don't get the kind of information that would need to be, say, it's on scheduled days, it's being consistently picked up.
So are there any recommendations from staff in regards to cutting back, or how we should cut back right now during this period? Because a storm can come at any point in time. We could have a threat, come into the picture tomorrow. So I know we just did the Hurricane Expo, and I heard that was very successful. Any recommendations from staff to give to the public, so then that way we make sure to keep our yard waste in check and we don't have a major issue.
Well, I think for any property owner, any resident, recognizing that we're in a period where our services are challenged. And so if you cut you cut excessive yard waste, you can't guarantee when it's going to be picked up. So knowing that if you have choices, knowing that there's a time of uncertainty on our pickup, waiting might be better, but that's an individual choice. We're not telling you have to wait on doing your aggressive trimming. But one thing I would say is if you have the ability to trim and take it to our convenience site at Cameo, then trim as much as you want, because you can take it there and it's very convenient, and we'll take all of your yard waste as much as you trim. On your right of way, on the street in front of you, it's less certain when it will be picked up and how much will be picked up.
And then just real quick to remind everybody, when if a hurricane is called or a warning is, you can't put out bulky items as if 48 hours before a storm.
Yes.
Just want to make sure. Those are my concerns is, I know we're working on all these other items. My concern is always in the event of X, so thank you everyone for their cooperation. We can't do it without our citizens' cooperation and our staff. Thank you so much.
And the good thing typically with storms is that we have notice. So then if we have to make decisions about telling people to stop cutting, we can do that. And we also know that August and September and October are our high season for really storms that come our way or potentially could come our way. So we'll do have some time for that as well. And it's unfortunate that we're still not getting the communication that we need in order to give more accurate sharing of information with our residents. It's the most frustrating thing, continues to be, but thank goodness we have our city trucks, and thank goodness we have our staff who have volunteered to do this. I know there's been comments about, we're making employees do certain things. We're not making our employees do anything that they don't want to do. That we have great employees. They have volunteered for this. And so we're very grateful to all of them and for doing the jobs that they're not supposed to really be doing. And our code staff too, because our code services are being eaten up by solid waste issues every single day. And so they need to be able to, at some point, get back to what they're supposed to do for their jobs. So again, thanks to all of our staff for that. And again, thanks to our residents for I know you're out of patience, so to ask for continued patience really isn't correct, but we know that you're out of patience. We're all frustrated just as much as you are, but the important thing to note is that we're going to continue working together to get us to September, to get back to that consistent, reliable service. So, all right. We're going to move on now to public to be heard.